Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today I've got the Kaiser Microlith here with me for a review. We're going to analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this little guy. But first of all, let's just do a quick size comparison. This is up against the Ferrum Forge Mass Drop Falcon, so quite comparable in size. And then we have Chris Reeve knives, small Sebenza 21, just a little bit bigger, of course. Next up we have a very popular option, just to give you an idea of the size of this little guy. This is a Para 3 from Spyderco, and if you have a Paramilitary 2 to dwarf this little boy, look at this. It's pretty small. Spyderco Techno, very comparable in size indeed, and because we have it here, and this is my wife's Spyderco MacB going on. So let's check it out, because this is a very interesting knife. It's a little one, for sure, because its closed length is 3.5 inches. When it's open is 6 inches long. So it's very tiny. It's a beautiful one. It's a liner lock with titanium scales, and the titanium scales have a nice satin vapor blast, or like very fine medium wash finish to it. Very cool. These are titanium scales. Inside you have these liners which are reaching out this screw right over here. They're not full, I mean, they are full liners, but they're not occupying the overall width of the scale. What I really like about this one are the lines, guys. Like, check this out. I mean, look at this. Design-wise, this is beautiful. This line over here is very nice and rounded off. I really appreciate it. And this line over here, and then you have these beautiful finger grooves going on. Truly cool. I mean, very nicely done. They did a nice job. Even if it's not skeletonized, the weight is not gonna be crazy. You have a very unobtrusive flipper tab. It almost, like, you don't even realize this is a flipper tab, because you see the fuller and you're gonna go like the nail nick, let's say, and you're gonna go just like that. But no, guys, you can actually flip this little blade out like crazy, because the detent is a little bit on the light side, but you can just do like almost a push button, or even like this with using this jimping right over here. You can do a light switch like that, and that's gonna be more reliable deployment of the blade. There are these finger grooves, guys, which I truly appreciate, because they're gonna give you an awesome grip. We're gonna check it out a little bit later. There is no jimping going on. Very smooth spine of the blade over here. Just one standoff, which can of course serve right over here as a lanyard attachment, because it's designed in a way so that, like, as you can see right here, it's not gonna touch the actual blade right over there. You see? It's a very nice design. There is a very shallow lock release relief. You have just this little chunk sticking out in order for you to disengage the lock. Of course, there's no need of a lock bar insert, because this is a liner lock, so the scale will act as a lock bar stabilizer as well. You have a T8 and a T6 screws in order to disassemble this guy, so maintenance is going to be pretty straightforward. You just unscrew this guy, this one, boom, you're done. The hardware is a little bit protruding for the pivot right over here, but it's going to be flush completely for the screw for the standoff here in the back. You have a pretty nice pocket clip, which is milled. It's solid titanium, has this kind of like of sword kind of profile going on, with a nice retention. It's not too springy, but has a pretty cool clip ramp, and is going to be securely staying in your pocket. it's gonna stick out like that much out of your pocket. So just, yeah, it's not gonna be unobtrusive. You're gonna see it absolutely. The pocket clip is not reversible, but it's tip up only, and of course this guy is not gonna be ambidextrous because yeah, it's a liner lock on this side only. The blade length is 2.5 inches and it's made out of S35 VN steel, which is pretty good to go, guys. The finish is very interesting because it's a dual tone finish with this kind of polished flats and this vapor blast matte grind over here. So very, very interesting. The stock thickness is not the thinnest of them all because, for example, if you check like your Para 3, sorry, check out the tip and the spine is basically the same. If you check, for example, your Spydie Chef, look at this. Spydie Chef is going to be a better slicer for sure. Or, for example, if you see like, let's see, the small Sebenza, it's quite comparable in size, but this one has just like a flat grind, which is not full flat grind. Small Sebenza, of course, has a beautiful hollow grind, which is going to give you much nicer slicing properties. The tip thickness is very good. It's robust. It's not the thinnest of them all, but it's very nice. There's no jimping going on over here. Not really much chamfering for the spine of the blade, but you have indeed a nice fuller. Very, very cool over here, and your thumb hole is nicely chamfered and it's not going to be sharp in any ways. You have about 50% of belly in this blade and just straight, flat, plain edge up to the sharpening choil. Very, very nice. The flipper tab almost like disappears because of the very thin profile going on. The plunge grind is nicely contoured and nicely following this line and meeting the fuller up to this point. So very, very cool. There's not really much of a thumb ramp, but there is definitely some billboarding going on right here. Kaiser, the steel employed right there, and the serial number, and also Microlith Swan right over there, logo. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's not sterile for sure. You have a nice touch with this blue anodized titanium pivot collar, both sides, which adds a little bit of flair to it. It means they thought about that when they were designing this. So let's check out the sound this guy makes, because it's very interesting. There you go. Guys. This is very unobtrusive, very clicky, and almost silent. It's very low, not loud. It's unobtrusive. It's very gentle, I have to say, because the blade weight is not that much, and when the blade hits the internal stop pin, that's the sound it's gonna make. So it's very interesting. It's very classy, I have to say. When you close it, it's almost silent, just very, very delicate little thud, and this is when you open it. So unobtrusive, it's discreet. You're not gonna scare anyone if you're gonna flip this guy open, or if you're gonna decide to use two hands and use this nick right over here. The weight is 2.75 ounces. When you hold this guy in your hand, you don't feel much hot spots, just a little bit from this point, this area here, from the pocket clip, but nothing too crazy. The grip overall feels secure, even if it's like very small. This is like, You see I have one finger just basically completely free, and the third one is just gonna be here, but these two are gonna give me quite some nice grip, and I like it. There's no jimping going on, so just remember that it's you're not gonna do any reverse grip kind of thing because it's like the handle is too small. You can't really choke up because of the absence of finger choil. But overall, guys, this is feeling quite solid in the hand to be, you know, such a small blade. Texture is really smooth and slick. The fit and finish is, it's all right. I mean, for the price you're gonna pay to get this guy, I can't complain. Blade play is absent, and it means that the construction overall is well put together. There's a nice clip ramp over here. The retention is good. I mean, it's not too springy. It's kind of like feels like a little bit rigid, but overall it's all right. It's not gonna go anywhere. The deployment speed, it's nice, guys. I mean, it's not fast, of course, because it's like this, but it's very interesting because you have a very narrow and very tiny jimped flipper tab, which you can use this jimping, which actually it is quite effective to do like this, just with the tip. Look at this, just the tip of your index, or you can do like this, like kind of like a push button action, or you can just use your two hands to deploy the blade. It's not the fastest, but it's nice, it's smooth. You don't have any finger sore because the detent is kind of on the light side, but overall it's smooth because this guy is running on bearings. And if you see right over here, you can't, even if you try to jam your fingertip in it, you're not going to be able to touch the tip of the blade. So overall it's nicely designed. I really like the design when this guy is closed, especially because this line is right over here, and I like when the blade just drops down towards the end, you know, to keep the overall lines intact. I really like these lines going on in this way. There's no rattling when shaken, so it's well put together, I have to admit. Even if the construction is so simple, just a pair of screws, it's gonna be good to go. The lock is not the easiest to disengage, because you have this side over here, which is not chamfered, so it's going to be a little bit on the sharp side, but the problem, I think, is that there's no relief over here. For example, like if you check this guy, of course you can easily jam your thumb exactly like that. You can't go wrong. You're gonna be facilitated by the design to disengage that one. This one, you see it's lacking a little bit, but it's not a big deal. You just have to jam your thumb like this, like sideways, and boom, and you're done. No lock stick whatsoever because it's a liner lock, so steel against steel, so you're pretty good to go. There's no like detent ball ramp. In fact, you're gonna have this step right over here. As soon as you disengage the lock, the blade falls down, but there's no really guillotine effect. You have to wiggle it in order to close the blade. But overall, guys, this is a pretty cool little knife. Design-wise, it's very sleek and elegant at the same time, very unobtrusive. Sound-wise, it's pretty quiet, and nobody's gonna turn around because you flip this guy open. And the grip is decent, even, you know, because you have to consider that this is a pretty small handle. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.